Alright guys, it's a little dark right now. I'm gonna just go run to Ace, throw some propane in that tank so I can have a heater tonight. We're gonna be working in the garage and it's pretty cold. It's currently, I don't know if you guys can see that, -8 outside. So yeah, we're gonna go fill up the propane, we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna start working on the Ford. Alright guys, I'm back. I got the propane tank, the heater. It was just running. I turned it off just so that you guys can hear me, but I'm just gonna clean up the garage real quick, get it all tidied up, that way we could work, and then we'll get into today's video. Alright, so now that I got the garage a little bit more cleaned up, as you guys just saw, today's video we're going to be actually working on the EFI kit for the Ford, the Holley system. So we got to mount up the ECU and the 2 ignition coil drivers, and I think what we're going to do is right here, there's normally a flap door right here, and that's the glove box. So we cut our little panel, that'll bolt there and there, that'll fit in there nicely, and the wires have to run across the dash, and eventually they will be coming out of right there on the firewall, right below this plug right there. So we're gonna get those mounted up, and then probably go through the wiring a little bit more to basically see what the best way to run it is. So here is our little piece that we made. It would sit in there just like that. Those 2 screws right there. We just put some loom around it so it's not sharp cutting anything. Eventually we'll get a nicer piece, made for it, but for now this is what we're working with. So get this down here. I'm going to be using these little guys. I'm just going to drill holes, and this will screw in from the bottom, basically like so, and the ECU will sit on it, and I got some screws back there that will screw into this so that it's threaded. And then I will be using nut zerts to hold in the ignition coil drivers. So I'm gonna prop you guys up. I'm gonna kind of plan out where I want it, mark my holes, and we'll start. Alright, so now that I got you guys propped up, I think I'm gonna go, so this sits in there like this. So I think I'm gonna do that right there. And do something like that. That way, when you open it up, you can still see everything. All the wires you could hide. These wires will go off to the side. So I think this is going to be the best way that I'll be able to do it. So real quick, grab the Sharpie. Make sure. It's not long enough. So what I'm gonna do let's see if this works. Yep, this should work. Hold it still. Mark my holes. Yeah, it's not working the best either. Let's see if maybe the Sharpie will fit down in there. There we go, that's better. Now we can move that out of the way. Move that one out of the way. Just like that. I got my holes right there, right there, there, and there. So now I'll be able to drill them. That drill bit should work fine. I'm just gonna set it just over the edge there. Start drilling her. Make sure where I want her. There's one. There's two. Now I got the holes on in for the ECU and for the coil. Make some coil drivers. Now I will probably have to go bigger, well, not probably, I know I'm going to have to go bigger for the ignition coil driver holes since I'm using the nut zerts. Obviously those aren't going to fit in there. But let's grab one of these. Make sure that's big enough. And nope, I will have to go a little bit bigger. So I do have another one right here that should work. There we go. So redo them all. Well guys, I was not paying attention. I drilled out that hole. That's actually for the screws that hold this plate in. So I'll have to find a washer that'll fit on over that. Well, that won't be too hard. Just make sure these work now. Should work. Okay, those will work. Drop that one. and I'll still have to go a decent amount bigger for the nuzzards. But for now, just make sure everything will line up the way it's supposed to. Now, I'll just throw a washer on this side. Throw that nut on there. Make sure it's square, just like that. Do it to the 4 other holes for the ECU. And it looks like I am missing a nut for my last one, so I'm gonna just see if we got one real quick. I don't over here, but I might. Should probably label these for what they actually are. I want to stop from having to look through all of them all the time whenever I need something. There'll be in any of them, there'll be in this one. That's too small. Okay. Maybe I don't have one. So that kind of puts a damper in my plans, considering it is now 11:23 at night, and nowhere is open for me to go get it. Oh, wait. Did I drop it in here? Yep. Okay. So we do got it. I dropped it in the tray of wrenches right there. That's good. And obviously I'll go back through and tighten all these up and get them all fully squared. But they all seem to line up pretty good. Got myself a screwdriver. I'm just going to throw 2 in right now and just see the actual fitment. Should tighten that one more. Oh no, maybe we're bottoming out on it. So I'll have to get some shorter screws. I might even have some here. seems like that's gonna work pretty well. They all line up. Just have to use the shorter screws on them. So, by now, I should probably drill. I'm actually gonna take these two off. That way, I can nut zerk these other ones a little bit easier. Alright, so I do have step pit here, so that should work pretty well for us. So we just need it a little bit bigger. Go size by size, that way we don't overdo it and mess up. Alright, so that one's going to work pretty good. And those two steps. 1, 2. Yep, just 2 steps above, so I'll do it on the other 2 real quick. Get these off so I don't lose them. So there we go. So now they should all fit in there pretty nicely. All I need is my kit. Let's see which one it fits in. Alright, so that seems to be the one. So that's the one we're going to use. Then you literally just right in there, screw your little handle into it, just like that. And then you grab yourself 10mm wrench, which is already right there in front of my face. Screw this on. Let's find 2 sockets to set underneath the end of this. Just like that. There we go. Make sure down in there all the way. You can normally start off by tightening it by hand. And you literally just tighten her down. And when it feels like it's getting pretty tight, just go a little bit more. Just because you don't want one that's halfway in there. It's getting pretty tight. So I'm just going to go a little bit more. And I can back her off. Like that. Your nuts are in. Make sure you guys can see this. It wants to focus. There we go. So you can see the little ring right there. So that basically pinches it, basically clamps it like that against the metal. So I just got to do it to those other ones, or those ones, and then we should be able to get everything mounted up on it. So throw you guys into a little time lapse of me doing it and getting everything mocked up, and I'll show you guys the finished product. Okay, well guys, that is a perfect example of what happens when you tighten it too much. Now what I'll be able to do with my nut zerts in place, these in place, I should be able to set this on here. Just like that. These ones were too long, so we are going to end up using the shorter ones right here. So no, those ones are too short. What do I do with those? Those ones? Yep, so it's these ones. Just a little bit shorter, that's all. These are the first ones I tried that you guys saw didn't fit. So these ones should work just fine. Grab all of those. I should be able to get them in. Get them all started before we go too crazy with them. There's a difference there, huh? Like that, mounted. As you can see, there's some space down there. Just, you know, let it breathe a little bit. Now for these, should be these little tiny guys, I do believe. Nope. Which one were these? Oh, there were these ones. One more floating around here somewhere. There it is. Yep. So we'll get this one mounted. This one's kind of a pain, just because that's the one I messed up and it went in crooked. So. Not the best luck. I should be able to get it to go in. That one in. Trying to get it pushed that way, equal with the other one. Got that one in. Now for this one, just like that. For some reason these ones aren't wanting to go into the ignition coil. So maybe if I could just kind of, there we go. Perfect sized. Goes right on in once you screw it in. So look at that one. Just gonna push down. Start screwing this one in. That way. Alright, there you go, guys. It's all mounted. Got a little bit of space underneath. Got those two mounted. The wires will run off to the side. So I think it's time to get her thrown in the truck and see how she fits. Alright, so we're in the truck now. We got our panel sitting right there. Sorry if it's a little shaky. I'm holding with one hand and trying to undo these screws with the others, so just gotta take these two screws out. Then we should be able to slide this right on in. Just like that. And then there is a little notch in the plate for right there. You just gotta get that lined up. Just like so. So it sits in there pretty nice. I guess while we're at it, might as well throw on the cover along with it. Might have to prop you guys up for this one. So let me do that real quick. Ooh, don't really have a good spot to prop you guys up at right now. Let me see if I can make something work here. Okay. I know it's not the best angle, but I'm trying to do my best. Just like that, we got all done. Open it. You guys will have the Holley EFI system, 2 ignition coil drivers, and everything that plugs into the Holley has, you know, more than enough space back there to run through and exit out. Pretty much right back in there. So I think that looks pretty good. You know, obviously, like I said, I'll end up redoing this panel, making it a lot nicer. But I think that turned out pretty good, you know. It's pretty hidden, you can't tell. But at the same time, it's also easy access. You know, you could easily fit this little stubby screwdriver in here to get all the screws out. So, alright guys, so real quick before we end off today's video, I just wanted to give you guys a little update on all the cars that you guys have seen on my channel. So first thing, let's just jump right into the Civic, because it seems like that's what everybody likes the most. If you guys want, just let me know what car you guys like the most. So, As you guys saw in one of the videos, I have gotten a B18 C1 head. It's a VTEC head. This is an A1 block. So that is at the machine shop. I bought it off Facebook. Want to make sure everything's okay with it, you know, before I just throw it in and spend a bunch of money on cams and valves and springs and everything. So once I get the call saying that that's okay and that the head is in good shape, I will be ordering cams and, like I said, valves and springs and everything like that. And then you guys will see a video on the tear down of that motor. I'm probably not going to do anything to the bottom end besides gap the rings, but you guys will see that. So that's what's kind of waiting. That's what's holding me back on the Civic right now, is doing that. And yeah, I could be out, you know, painting the engine bay or doing some other stuff, but it's cold. You guys saw at the beginning of the video, it was -8 today, and that's not even with the wind. So then the OBS, I do plan on ordering some more stuff for that. Probably next will be, like I said, I think in the last video, I think I mentioned it, was gonna be a bumper and a grill. I'm just trying to figure out what grill I wanna go with. There's so many options for those trucks because they've been around for 32, 33 years or something like that. So I know what bumper I'm gonna go with, but I just don't know what grill, so I'm just waiting on making up my mind for that. As far as Ty's Camaro goes, we did end up doing the tubed front end, but I forgot my camera at home the day that we did that. So the tube front end's done. We're just kind of waiting on some parts. You know, he just started a new job, so we're just kind of waiting on that. Waiting from this point forward on his build. It's all big things like, you know, fuel system, EFI system, the turbo, the intercooler, all that type of stuff. And then as far as this goes, this is just an ongoing project. You know, we're just working on it slowly. So now that we got the EFI system, we should be able to start getting some more things buttoned up on it. But this one was probably a truck that my dad just wants to do it right. So he wants, you know, everything perfect. So we're not gonna rush anything on it, you know. So yeah, that's kind of the update that I got for you guys. And we're, you know, waiting on parts, waiting on me making up my mind, waiting on the machine shop. So as soon as I make up my mind on the bumper and the grill, I'll get that ordered. As soon as I get a word from the machine shop, I'll be ordering my cams and my springs and my valves and all that stuff. So that, and once it warms up, you guys will be seeing a lot more footage. So just wanted to give you guys that little bit, and hopefully you guys liked today's video, and you guys have a good rest of your day.